I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert in footballs. I'm not an expert in football measurements.
I don't want anyone rubbing them, putting in the air in them, taking the air out. To me, those balls are perfect, and that's what I expect when I show up.
I can't throw it on the football. It's so goddamn hard about holding on to it.
Introducing Mike Cash Collins and Scott Stagg Simpson as the Fantasy Millionaires.
LF Go. It's Fantasy Millionaire Flow with Mick Big Time Bo. It's the halftime show, giving you everything you need to know. So turn the volume down low and get ready for data. Good evening to my beautiful brother, Scotty Stacks. And good evening to our brother that the internet brought into our lives. The man with the best hot sauce and spiciest takes in the USA. Bo Mick Big Time. Welcome, bro.
Hey, I feel like this is a long time coming. I'm going to have to really I really don't have to try to upstage Denny Carter because his tea levels were just declining as we watched the show last week. Like all we saw was just dripping, like one of those maple trees that you just poke in Canada and they just leak everywhere. Yeah, that was Denny last week. So
you're definitely our highest tea guest we've ever had so far.
Well, yeah, I think my daughter could run across the screen and it already.
Yeah, well, it's good not to see you in the comments, man. We get to see live.
I'm gonna jump in there too.
Are you?
I'm gonna make fun of that. I'm gonna make fun of that ugly guy with the bourbon background.
Oh my god.
Okay. I like it.
No, you're looking good, Bo. I like your bourbon background, by the way.
Yeah, stole it myself off Google Images.
No, it looks perfect. I thought it was from the bank turned bar down the street from your house, which was pretty cool, that we went to get our bourbon on and our whiskey on. So that's what I thought it was.
That was where the guy wouldn't stop talking to you for like an hour straight.
He wouldn't let us drink until he finished his history lesson.
Right. It was a long spiel. It was like drunk history, but you were sober and he was drunk and you just had to wait for him. And then you got your one drink after that. It was kind of, history lesson that I didn't ask for,
It was also terrible customer service because we had a hankering. We went in there to drink whiskey and he made us wait for it. He was edging us. We were edging at a whiskey bar.
30 minutes of edging before he gave us the history of everything.
But see, that sounds like he's right up Scott's alley. Scott's always trying to edge when he starts going after like some nice, good alcohol. He's always sitting there.
Nobody puts baby in the corner because I was helping with the history lesson, trying to move it along, and then he would go off on a tangent, and so you could just see the dismay. Scott's heart would just sink when he thought he was getting close, and he would be like, "Oh, and then there's another type of Irish whiskey that you need to hear about for 30 minutes."
Do you know about Canadian?
Scott likes a little light edging. He doesn't want like real hardcore a half hour edging before the drink.
No. He was practically humping the guy's leg for a drink by the end of it.
Yeah, he was telling me to shut up and sit down. It was so sad. Like, I've never been this discouraged about buying alcohol from someone.
Sir, I've never met you before. Why are you doing this to me?
He told you to shut up?
No,
in not so many words.
Not so many words, because I made a comment like, that sounds great. Let's get some of that. And he's like, wait a minute, we got to get into Canadian whiskeys now. And I was like, no, we don't. Not even going to buy Canadian whiskey. I want
Sorry, I do not need a Canadian whiskey right now there, sir.
Oh, no, I do not. He's explaining why they were Canadian and how the Canadians almost lost. I was like, listen, I just want to drink here at this beer bar bank vault. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Does he do this every time, Bo? Like, were you just trying to tilt Scott? Like, do you do this every time you take your guest there and make him here a half an hour?
It's like, yeah, I'm that much of an asshole. I could totally do it. But no, it's like I know the guy because he owns the place, and I go there quite often. But I've never been through his whiskey history class that he went through. So I was just as enthralled as Scott was to go into the whiskey vault and get a lesson. Of course, if Brian ever does take a day off and needs somebody to teach a class, I'm pretty sure I could do it and get more drinks sold.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the goal, is to sell drinks, and he's not doing it. We're trying to buy them, and he's like, just wait a second. I'm like, no, I want to wait no seconds. I want to drink the booze now. So,
And I'd be like, my grandpappy was a bootlegger, and he said he already told me from the grave that you like this one. smell this, and rub it on your hand. Oh yeah, he did that. He was like a perfume sample where he actually took a drop of whiskey and rubbed it on your hand and told you to sniff it.
yeah. It was
Which
great.
And Scott wasn't go. Scott, what was up, man? This is you, baby. Like this is what you. I mean, every time I see you, you're over there just twirling, doing a lot of this, doing a lot. You like to get your nose all the way in the cup.
Yeah.
You weren't getting excited by this.
Well, when he got the fucking liquor out, then I got excited. He didn't even open it for 30 minutes. He just talked about it, and then finally he's like, "All right, let's open up this cupboard."
He was caressing the bottle. The bottle was half erect by the end of the story.
Yeah, man. The bottle got way more action than I did, and but long story short, go visit Bo McBigtime if he ever invites you, because it's a hell of a trip. Great times, drinking in the bank vault. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I listen to that old man talk to get some good whiskey, some good scotch. I mean, it was perfect. I loved it.
The ultimate ending to the story is that you ended up liking the whiskey that I just ordered for you more than the ones that he was wove an entire intricate story to get you to taste. Right. I was like, he wants to try that one. The bartender brings over the Redbreast 12, which it's an amazing whiskey, and just poured it neat. Put it in front of Scott, and him and I were sipping that before we even went to the bank vault, and he ended up liking that one best of all of them.
That was my favorite. Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's it. I sold 2 glasses of whiskey, just like that.
Anyway, but we do digress a little bit. We're excited to have Bo on the show today, and Bo said it right. We love Denny, but Bo's been like the patron saint of our show. Him and Brad. Yeah, since the beginning.
I don't remember Denny ever being in the comments giving you guys shit. So
I don't ever remember that either.
The audacity of him to assume he was going to be the first guest.
He jumped in on you. Yeah, he's cut in front of the line.
First one. He's going to be the first one to be forgotten. That's what he's going to be.
Oh, these are some
The spicy takes begin. Bo McBigtime. He's live.
You can check him out over at Bo_McBigtime on Twitter. And then also, if you want spicy food takes, you can go to bigtimeflavor.co, and you can get yourself some delicious hot box, some amigo seasoning, some taco season, some spice shack rub. I mean, there's just so many delicious things you can get over there. So check it out. And then also, if you check out his Twitter handle, you can see where he lost to me in the head-to-head, the clash of the beards and the bellies, and he's crying about it. So you can check all that stuff out on Bo McBigtime's content over there.
You can check out Scott and Bo's show. What that I caught you guys this weekend. You guys were just killing it running through the slate. It was awesome. You guys are just pros.
The slate walk. Oh
yeah.
Turn our little tricks on the slate walk.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Now we're going to cover that the clash of the beards and bellies, because I demand a recount, and my cousins didn't get thrown in jail for treason on January 6th for nothing. That was the last time I lost a Scott was during the Trump administration. So
did your cousins really get thrown in jail, Bo? That's a scary story here.
I'm Irish. They're all my cousins.
It did look like a lot of Irishmen down there storming the Capitol. No,
yeah. I'm pretty sure I recognized the guy that was kicking his feet up on Pelosi's desk.
Oh, that's Denny Carter's father, I believe. So
that's definitely his muse for dog whistled, underhanded, slightly racist tweets that are based on a player's skin. He always is like, I'll take Cole Beasley every time, man. He got that guy up on a desk. That thing cracks me up.
Oh, that's so funny. So, all right, we will get into that, but let's talk about this week 2 that I didn't get to watch because I was driving across the country to get to vacation.
Dude.
I mean, fire your families if that happens ever again. What did you guys see? Tell me about it. What did I miss?
Let's just start out with this. I want to hear Bo McBigtime's take 2. How good is football so far in 2021. I mean, this is just tremendous. The first game, Dallas versus Tampa, beautiful. Then we had Raiders versus Ravens last Monday night.
Yeah.
Thursday night game, Giants, Washington football team.
See, on that one, I hope they both lost. I was hoping they would both lose, and they both tried really hard to lose. But the Giants eventually did lose because they can't even line up onside for a kick.
That was crazy. You see your boy Nicky Snacks, Scotty?
Yeah, poor guy.
He got dragged through the interwebs pretty hard.
Yeah.
Well, I saw him tweet out and say, I'm not going to choose another team. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to not be born. This is.
Somebody sent him that meme because he hadn't seen that meme before, and then he reposted, and that's what caused the whole outpouring of like, what's wrong with Nicky Snacks?
Well, this guy was, and people don't understand Nicky Snacks. He got a Make-A-Wish. His Make-A-Wish was to get Giant season tickets as a teenager, 16-year-old battling cancer. He gets a Make-A-Wish. It's to go to Giant Stadium, to have field passes, to be a part of the team. And during preseason, he goes during a Jets game. I think it wasn't even against the Giants. Maybe it was just against a random team. And he started haranguing and harassing the Jets players on the sideline, so much so that they kicked him out of MetLife Stadium. They said, you cannot come here anymore. They kicked him out, and he lost his Make-A-Wish. And, that guy is a hero. If you're going to lose your Make-A-Wish just to yell at the Jets, that's a true Giants dyed-in-the-wool kind of guy. So, he lives it. He believes it. That's what he loves. It's his God. You can't tear his God down. The Washington football team did. But, you can't do that. Come on.
Did you guys see the Chiefs versus Ravens last night too? Just another classic game. The back and forth. It was just epic.
I was having
Lamar's a freaking legend already. Already a legend.
Yeah. I watch him, and I think he's going to have a better year. But in terms of rushing ability, I think he might be a better running back than Alvin Kamara. He is legit. He his side to side moves, like the way he's able to reposition defenders, like Collinsworth just kept talking about. You don't see
Collinsworth calls the game like he's surprised there's a game on.
Yeah, but he was making a very valid point with the idea that a quarterback doesn't go up the middle like that. And then he's also stays healthy. He's running straight at linebackers and just making them move inches this way, inches that way, cut. It's ridiculous.
He's been doing his whole life, so
I know.
I'm not surprised.
I know.
The dude's one of the most exciting players I've ever seen. He's got more lateral quickness than Vic ever had. Vic was just very fast, and he had a rocket arm just like Lamar has. People give so much crap to Lamar for not being an accurate passer. He looked pretty damn good last night.
Yeah, man. The Hollywood Brown connection is starting to get sexy, man. The jump pass. That was sick. The jump pass.
Nobody else is even trying that. He threw that 30 yards in the air when he was in the air himself.
And then right after the jump pass, you have Kelsey go video game mode over the whole defense. Just ridiculous game.
Kelsey's just like, Gronk's going to be tight end one. Hold my beer.
Right. Yeah.
Well, what about Harbaugh, who, if you don't love Harbaugh already, what's wrong with you? But him asking Lamar basically what he wanted to do, getting his feedback before that fourth down play. You want to go for it? What do you want to do? I love that, man. That just made me so happy. It's how
I love that they
work with your player. Yeah, it was cool.
I love that they caught that because the way he was framing it was I already know what Lamar is going to say, and we're going for it.
Right.
He's like, hey, you want to go for this? And Lamar's like, hell yeah. And he goes, all right, we're going. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
No, that's an alley.
You see as a quarterback from your coach is, okay, let's go.
Right. Obviously it's Harbaugh who, he's making the decision, but he frames it so that Lamar gets to look like the hero. That is really cool. It's a good observation.
That's a good coach and a great quarterback.
And he's he's basically saying like, I trust you, you know, and that implicit message is sent to him. And then he goes, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to go for it. You trust me. Like, why wouldn't I go for it? Like, you want to go for it? I want to go for it. We're going for it. So
well, it's a great observation because Lamar would go for it on fourth down, like
every time,
all game. Like it would be a 4-down team. Like they would never punt.
He's not the kind of guy that's ever going to punt in Madden, even if it's 4th and 23, he's going.
Yeah, totally.
Get it though. That's the thing with him. He'll get it more often than he doesn't get it because, like you said, people can't tackle him. You can't get a hit on him. You know, he's like RG3, but with like actually Teflon. RG3 would go run around and get hit every time. You'd be like, oh shit, he's dead. Like every time.
He looks like Kamara. That's what he reminds me of as a runner. Like the way he's like a squid. Like he just is like, I'm here, no, I'm not here. I'm here, no, I'm not here. Just like it's like there's like 3 of them. Like
right. And Kamara is just slippery and he runs with great angle. He's faster and quicker than Kamara is. Just because they're both slippery doesn't mean they're even the same runner, because Lamar is slippery and he's faster and he's quicker and he can throw the ball. So you're running RPOs through every defense, and they're like, oh, everybody's going to figure this RPO stuff out. I was like, no, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl on RPO. Imagine putting Lamar Jackson in the same Philly offense that Nick Foles won a Super Bowl with. That's scary. There's nobody that's going to figure it out because he's a weapon and he's handing it off to other weapons all over the field.
Well, I don't want to hammer in that running backs don't matter because they obviously do, but
some do.
Some do. But in the Ravens scheme, the scheme matters, and Lamar's the scheme and the way they play off of him. But 3 of your starting running backs this year went down. Your first 3, your top 3. Any other team right now going up against the Chiefs in week 2 would go, oh shit, we lost our backfield. The Ravens win the football game because they have Lamar Jackson. So, I mean, it's just, it makes me so happy. I love that kind of next man up, and then also mixed with great superstars who can get you, and a great coach too, get you where you need to be.
Do you want to know what my favorite thing so far of 2021 is?
Yes, I do.
Mike Vrabel making the freaking obvious decision to start throwing Derrick Henry the football. Like, he has 10 targets. Give him the ball as much as you can. Like, just throw him the ball, hand him the ball, throw him the ball, hand him the ball. They're like, I've never understood. I always get into arguments with everybody about Derrick Henry, and they're like, well, the targets just aren't there. And I'm like, well, that's stupid.
Right.
Throw him the ball.
It's not like they're not doing it because he couldn't. It's because Arthur Smith is stubborn. And as soon as you saw stubborn Arthur Smith leave town and go to Atlanta, look what happens. They start throwing Derrick Henry the ball. He puts up a gazillion fantasy points yesterday. And Arthur Smith, his system looks like dog shit in Atlanta. Like Matt Ryan running his system with no mobility versus Tannehill with some mobility and no running back to carry the load. And you got 2 great receivers out there just floating in the ether wide open, and Matt Ryan can't deliver them the football in that system. That is a problem. And we're starting to see that Arthur Smith wasn't the catalyst to the Titans' success. It was everybody that was playing on that team, all that talent.
Yeah. And chiefly so Derrick Henry. Like, that guy
Don't crown coaches. I can't stand when people talk that like Kyle Shanahan's a genius. His lifetime win percentage is under 500.
Yeah.
John Lynch built him one of the best rosters ever compiled in 2019. And Jimmy Garoppolo didn't lead them to the Super Bowl. That defense did. That was a historically good defense. And Jimmy Garoppolo was just the Trent Dilfer of that season. Because if you look at QBR on passes over 10 air yards, he was 35th out of 32 quarterbacks. It wasn't Jimmy G that could be getting crowned for winning games. It's John Lynch building just a loaded roster.
Yeah. Yeah, my man Raheem Mostert came out the second half of that season too and went,
He went bonkers.
Yeah.
Wow, 50-yard game to Devontae.
He's coming out, and he's probably never playing again. So,
all right, what's your favorite thing so far, guys, of 2021? I said mine. Derrick Henry getting 10 targets in the first 2 games.
Tony Pollard getting his run, baby. I know you know that I'm the Tony Pollard stan of all the world, of all the internets, all the interwebs. Nobody has stand Tony Pollard back as far as I have. Nobody's
right.
pined for him to get more work, not because he's better than Zeke, because I actually don't believe that. I think they're both extremely good backs, but Zeke isn't so much better than Pollard to get 80% of the touches like he has the last 2 years. Tony Pollard's special, and they're finally figuring out that if they give him the damn ball, both him and Zeke can be special together.
I like that. That's a sexy take there. My favorite thing so far, I would say, is watching the games, because I didn't watch the games this week and it sucked so hard because I was traveling. And so just watching actual football, like seeing it with my eyes and understanding it with my mind. And I would say both those Thursday night games to me were incredible. I've never seen 2 back-to-back Thursday night games like that. I've seen 1 or 2 like that, but not to start the season. The first game, Dallas, versus Tampa Bay, Super Bowl champs. You got Dak coming back off the injury. Huge game, incredible game. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper balling out. You had Godwin balling out, Gronk balling out, Tom Brady balling out. It's just an amazing game to watch. Came down to the last second, field goal, win the game. And then that Washington football team game against the Giants, man, the Giants jumping off sides or not jumping off sides. They're getting called for jumping off sides. And the Taylor Heineke, best starting quarterback to come out of nowhere and since Kurt Warner type deal we're hoping over there. People are hoping. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
He had 3.5 terrible quarters, and he got bailed out by a terrible defense.
I got to tell you,
Taylor Heineke, that was the worst 30-point fantasy performance I've seen since Blake Bortles.
Well, I'll say this.
Like crap for 3.5 quarters.
That touchdown pass to Ricky Seals-Jones had a 13% chance of being completed. It was ridiculous.
You can thank Ricky Seals-Jones for being 6'8".
Well, that's why he threw it right. Well, he threw it right where the 6'8" guy could catch it. That's what makes you a good quarterback. So,
I mean, I heard a stat on him. He has more completions in his first however many starts than any quarterback ever. So, I mean,
small sample size, but I'll just say this: that made me happy.
He's winning the race. He's winning the race so far.
Yeah, I like seeing those Thursday close games. And so this is for me. I don't root for any team. I root for the game to end on a game-winning play. That's how I want it to end every game. I want to end on a field goal to win it, or to block to miss field goal to lose it, or a touchdown interception in overtime, or a run, Derrick Henry, whatever it is. I want to see drama. I want to see somebody crying on the sideline. I want to see somebody elated and just like going off the rails. So like that's for me. And those 2 games gave you that carry-off moments, as you call them. And so I like those things. I want to see those, and maybe we get a carry-off moment tonight. That'd be great to see tonight. We'll see.
It's a close game already, so
I love it.
Whew.
What about Tom Brady's Subway commercials? You guys fan of that?
When he's getting phased out real quick, where they just
it's like a cologne one, and then
I've seen this one.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Yeah? It's my favorite commercial so far because it's all about like the bread that they use. What's that?
I don't know what a commercial is, guys.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, check this one if you ever get in the commercial space.
But usually I just pay money and they don't show me these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantasy millionaire status is I have ad free on everything.
Fantasy pirate status. I don't watch.
Well, what do you do like right now if it's a game? Like what does it do?
It plays the game.
Right, but there's commercials.
Yeah, but I have it muted, so I don't even pay attention.
Okay. So if you see this commercial, unmute. It's a good one. Okay. It's Brady with his cologne, right? He's got this. It's like a weird, like it's a little silly at first. You're like, oh God, has he got a cologne called Brady or something like that? Like it's like really like, oh, this looks gross, right? And then like out of the cologne bottle comes this bread, And you're like, oh, this is weird, but it's like kind of funny, but it's still not trying to be funny. Like it's like trying to be serious. Like this bread keeps coming out of the cologne, and there's bread and cologne and stuff. And then at the end, they're like, so try the new, Subway footlong on this new bread that we have. And he's like, he says something, and he's like, but you don't even eat bread, Tom Brady. And then he just turns and looks at him. It's awesome.
And you
I
know
don't know.
Tom Brady doesn't eat anything like what they
He does
have.
not eat bread. No way.
No, he doesn't eat bread, and he wouldn't eat the chemical-induced stuff that Subway serves either.
No, that's why it's awesome. It's such a great. It's such a 2021 commercial.
I'm getting
Like they're
paid
just all
to
admitting,
endorse
like
a product
bread's
that I wouldn't
bad
touch
for
with
you.
Oh,
Bread
yeah.
is not good, but here's Tom Brady still.
Showing us how to do bread.
Yeah, and it looks good. You want the sandwich?
You can just see him talking to his agent. I don't have to touch it, do I? He's going to Giselle. Giselle, I swear I didn't touch the bread.
I didn't touch the bread.
Right.
Look at the bread. It was not even in the same room as me. It was in another room.
It was CGI bread, Giselle. Giselle, it was CGI. Don't worry about it.
They shot it. The bread was in another room. I swear to God, I never saw the bread. I smelled the bread though. I smelled that bread.
It smelled really good.
It was so good. It smelled so good.
Why can't we eat bread again? I can't. Giselle, why can't we eat bread again?
Is that a strawberry, Tom? No, it's not a strawberry. I was drinking Taco Bell packets again in the car.
Yes.
Anyway, but we are excited to have you on here. The most fire guests that we know, spicy stacks, picante, the whole thing. Like you are just the man. So we're excited to get you on and to be able to chop it up with you, especially since I get to do this once a week and Mike does not. So
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to get you on all our takes, man. Let's do it. Like we do the wire, we do elevate, mitigate, eviscerate, and we do stacks of cash. So let's jump into it, man. Let's start out with the wire, and we can start promoting the people we think you should pick up. And I definitely want to hear some spicy takes from my man Bo Big Time. So
yeah, me
Granted.
too.
All right, Scotty, let's do the wire. QB, who's the best person to pick up on the wire right now?
Well, first of all, let me just say that the wire is brought to you and presented by Occupy Fantasy. Do go check out Occupy Fantasy. They've got one of my favorite lineup generators, lineup builders that you can plug in all of your data in, all the guys that you like, percentages, how much you want exposure across the whole slate, narrow the game down to one or two. They've got it all. Go check out Occupy Fantasy. Down, if you're listening on YouTube, down in the comments or down in the description, we have a link there. You can check that out. Okay, I would say two players here. I'm going to give you like either or, right? One is if this player is not drafted in your league, it's kind of crazy. But I'm just going to say it's Justin Fields' season might be beginning sooner than later. But I don't know. He probably was just drafted. Everybody just probably just drafted him. But somebody who might be available in your league who you could grab up is Kirk Cousins, man. The Cousins is kind of often forgotten, but you know that guy he likes it, and so far he's been on it. He's got a lot of wide receiver support this year. KJ Osborne kind of coming out of nowhere, unless you're Jordan Vanek, who called that as his punt play last week in DFS. You could have won some money if you listened to Jordan. Please do. But I do like Kirk. He's rostered, in less than half the leagues. In some of the leagues that we're in, he's picked up. But please do see if he is available.
By this guy.
Yeah, but wait, you got him? You mother.
I have him in like every league we're in.
Oh, you son of
I picked him up everywhere and didn't even start him.
Oh,
I know. He's my backup, and I'm like, I think he's moving up my ranks now. I think why am I not starting that guy?
I'm not touching Cousins.
Listen, he's here. I'll give you a guy that Kirk Cousins. I don't know. He's not available in any of our leagues.
Meh.
How about Derek Carr?
Still meh. He's due to regress.
You would think. How about right now in the BFFs? He is fifth, and he's fifth in lots of leagues, depending on your scoring system.
Yeah.
Like he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. Everyone says he's due for a nice little regress. I don't know.
Classic chasing points, though. Classic chasing points.
But they also come out with a win too. So I mean, like that Ravens game, they beat the Ravens. That's a big win.
Well, I would say in my defense with the Kirk Cousins play, he went up against Arizona, and he did very well. You guys know who his opponent is for week 3? You guys know who's playing in week 3?
Seattle.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're never going to throw the football that week, So
right.
Yeah, I mean, so I think it does. Sometimes you are chasing points, but sometimes you're chasing matchups. And so I just think in that Seattle matchup, they're gonna, it's gonna be one of those high scoring affairs, just kind of like the last game Minnesota had was, and the last game Minnesota had was, and like the last game Minnesota had was, because their defense is shit and they want to be better, but Mike Zimmer is too busy hollering at Instagram models and not paying attention to defense. So that's more where I'm going with Kirk, is that defense is forcing him and his hand to throw the ball downfield. And he likes to do it too, man. That's his thing. He likes to throw the ball downfield.
I'm going to say one thing very quickly to sum this all up. Let the streaming quarterbacks be streaming quarterbacks. Pick them up.
I agree.
Pick them up when you need them, when they're favored to go off. Nobody was playing Derek Carr against the Steelers. You know why? Because the Steelers weren't technically a good matchup. Do you get burned by him being on the waiver wire? No. Your other quarterback probably scored somewhere in that neighborhood. He didn't put up 380 passing yards, but the quarterback that you drafted in the top 12 isn't going to be that far behind. Unless you had a Aaron Rodgers week 1 or a Dak week 2, you're not generally going to get burned by your quarterback. But if you faded quarterback in your draft and you're streaming, you're okay with letting somebody go off on the waiver wire, because you can let other people jump on that when they have a less favorable matchup the next week after that. I'm not chasing quarterback points. I'm going to pick up streamers with favorable, probable chances of going off. And so maybe Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins are both that guy. I see them both as equal streaming.
Wait. How many yards did you say he didn't have?
No, Carr had like 380 this week and 425.
435 the week before.
Right.
That means their defense is poo-poo is what it means.
Baltimore and Pittsburgh. He beat both those teams.
Yeah.
Baltimore's
both
weakness
legit defenses.
And Pittsburgh's weakness is corner. Pittsburgh got roasted at the DB position, and Baltimore couldn't get any pressure on Carr. So he's sitting back there with a blanket and a campfire, just picking out who to throw to.
So is he going to do that in week 3 though, or is he going to stop? Like, what's the? So when does the
team that has the defense they can get after the quarterback? Well, you had T.J. Watt get hurt early in that game. Once he goes down, they can't get after him either, and their cornerbacks are out there like sitting ducks. Derek Carr is good, but he's not great. I'm not going to roster him just because he had 2 big performances when I know that the other side of the Derek Carr coin is coming very soon.
Okay. Well, here's the thing.
Who's your guy? Who's Bo's guy? Because Bo shit on both of our guys. I want to know who his
guy
is. Yeah. Who's your guy, Captain Crunch? Let's hear it.
He's just here to shit on our guys. That's what he's here to do.
Sam Darnold's in a system where he's going to put up 20 points every week this year. He's going to be a top 15 quarterback in fantasy because of his consistency in that offense. He's got weapons to burn. Unlike the other 2 guys, if you get one of Thielen or Jefferson go down, that whole offense is junk.
I'm not going to agree with you. That's true. But
and the Raiders, we can't expect any consistency out of the Raiders except from Darren Waller. That's it.
Well, Mike, your boy Ruggs finally went off. Congratulations. I thought of you when he got a touchdown. I will say this, though. I'm not disliking your Sam Darnold take for now. It's like our sexiest DFS show moniker, because he does play Houston this next week, and it's on a short week, and they have no quarterback. So that could be a wild game for him. So I'm not going to disagree with that. Sam Darnold is a good pickup. I think I would start Kirk Cousins as well this week, though, knowing that and that's more like elevate, knowing he's going to face, Russell Wilson, who's going to be chucking and fucking,
Gentleman's bet with the guy shitting all over picks. I'll take Derek Carr over Sam Darnold for the season.
For the rest of the season?
That's the season-long bet. That's a good bet.
Yeah.
From week 3 on.
Gentleman's bet. Just a fun internet friendship bet.
I already made a preseason bet that Darnold would outscore Wentz, and look what's happening.
Well, I mean, Wentz,
that's fine. I'm not betting on Wentz. I'm betting on Derek Carr. I'm going to take Derek Carr.
Okay. Yeah, both ankles twisted.
Like Derek Carr's still going to be quarterback 20 by the end of the year. You watch.
If the injury happens, you could,
just beat Derek Carr.
I like it. You're getting it on the Fantasy Millionaire vibe, which is to bet against each other, which is good.
Yes,
that's good.
exactly.
Yeah, welcome to the family. This is great. I'm gonna bet Kirk Cousins over both those bitches. and take you guys to the cleaners. So put me in that friendly.
Quarterback 19.
I don't want to bet versus Kirk Cousins. They're neck and neck to me. Kirk Cousins to me has, since he's been in the league since 2012, he's literally gotten better every single year, and he looks like he's better this year than he was last year.
Yeah, his line isn't collapsing too. He looks terrible under duress. He looks like an Englishman fighting a Frenchman when he's, oh, excuse me, oh no, pardon me, please hold on. So he's not under duress. He looks good. Right
now, Derek Carr's 5th, Kirk Cousins is 6th in the BFF.
Neck. In most systems, they are. We don't have too many skewed scoring points. We have maybe.
I got one more. I'm ready for you both to shit on me.
Okay.
Yeah, and let me just say this to get back to Bo's point about not picking up a QB. I agree with you in a 10-man league. There's no reason to roster a second quarterback. I don't agree with you in a 12-man league. I don't. Every league I ever play in, at the end of the year, all the good quarterbacks are rostered. So now's the time. If you want to not have to worry about injury, if you want to have depth to your team, there are guys to get. And if you can't drop anybody, you can't drop. But if there's just a scrub, I would say another person you could get is Daniel Jones.
Yeah, 95
Yeah,
yards.
dude, check it out.
Check it out. Passing touchdowns.
What's that?
That's the same as 2.5 passing touchdowns.
What? Here's the thing, man. Dude, he had 95 rushing yards in that last game, and he got like a 40-yard rush taken back from him. Like,
yeah. Boy can pedal.
He can pedal.
Yeah, he can.
Listen, rushing quarterbacks are one of those little things that you just miss. You just aren't paying attention to. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones is getting you 30 points, and he's only got 150 yards throwing, but he's got 100 yards on the ground. I'm just saying.
You're scoring. So here's how I see it. I see Daniel Jones as a better fantasy option at the end of the year than Cousins and Carr too, because of that rushing upside and the fact that defense is so bad in New York that he's going to have to chuck it and run for his life every single game behind a terrible offensive line. And it's going to have to be a one-man show. And so far he has 1 turnover in 2 games. And of course that 1 turnover cost him the first game, but the dude can put up fantasy points in bunches. We saw that. And that's one thing I will say about a 12-team league. If you're going to stash an extra quarterback, it better be a mobile one, and it better be a guy with that kind of upside where if your first guy is just dogging it, like he was top pick, and you're like, oh, I got a top 12 quarterback, I got him relatively early, and they don't pan out or they get hurt, you have somebody to fall back on that has upside. I'm not going to roster Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins on my bench, because I'm always going to be tempted to be like, oh, what if I just put him in this week? Because then you're going to be sitting your studs, and I'll never do that.
Well, listen, I'm just going to say, I was talking to my man Adam Rank earlier this summer. I talked about the PND, hashtag Adam Rank and the PND. And we're talking about the need to roster a second QB, which you normally wouldn't do. So I would say for me, I'm not doing that in all of my leagues, but I think I understand the mindset that's behind it and what you need to win at the end. I would say a couple years ago, you needed Ryan Tannehill, and Tannehill was not he was available because people just didn't believe him in his first year, and somebody picked him up and they won the championship in my league that I was in. And so they outbid me by a couple bucks because they had more money than me. And so it was discouraging. So there are quarterbacks that come in the end of the year that just kind of do, blow the doors off, easy playoff schedule, whatever it is, ascension.
And so you pick those guys up because of something happening.
Of course, but I think that
Kirk going out there seeking him out after 2 weeks of good football and ditching your top guy for him.
I think what you see,
dude, but Kirk Cousins last year, he was like a top 10 quarterback.
It's about bad defenses in general. I think all these quarterbacks, given the need to throw the football, can throw the football. I think that's what we're seeing. And what you're looking at with these people is that both their defenses are fucking terrible.
And here's another point, dude. These guys are slept on. I think I know what you're saying, Bo. I don't like for whatever reason. Derek Carr's just like me, Derek Carr. Kirk Cousins. He's Kirk Cousins. dude, go back, look at their 2020 stats. They're both putting up numbers for fantasy purposes, and I'm just saying, if you're in a 12-man league, I think your time window, because people scavenge, man. This is the time you got to get on the wire now. This is the wire's done in like 5 weeks.
Yes, I agree. But let me just jump to another player position because we're on QB.
All right.
We're
getting in the weeds.
Right. Let's talk about. We'll start with Bo. Who's your number one waiver wire running back pickup this week? Must have if he's available.
Next question. You already know the answer.
Does it start with a C?
No, his name is Kenny Gainwell, but I already picked him up last week. So
Tony Pollard.
Oh, he should be available in all. I mean,
he's not. He's not on the wire.
He's only rostered 38% of ESPN leagues and 49% of Yahoo leagues.
Well, please invite me to all those leagues because you guys are just idiots.
Yeah, those are people that don't listen to this show.
They're casual.
Would you deep benches or normal size benches? I got Gainwell stashed too. So
yeah, me too. I picked him up. So in those deeper leagues, Bo, talking leagues that you and I, Mike, are in. Who is your number one guy that you're looking for this week?
At running back?
Yes, sir.
Probably whoever's going to – probably Jeff Wilson. I want to get ahead of that injury return because he's a better skilled running back than everybody else they have on that roster right now.
Oh, that's a dent in Mike's little Elijah Mitchell story. What do you think, Mike? Would you want to jump ahead, or would you want to give somebody who's hot right now, or an injury perhaps maybe elevating somebody to a position of?
No, I like that. That's a good pull. I've already been eyeballing him. You know, especially if you've got an IR spot and you can just dump somebody, stash him in your IR, and then pick up the person you dumped.
I'm doing the same thing with Rashad Bateman, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
you have a spot, and the guy's going to come back in a position where he's trusted by Shanahan. That's one thing we haven't seen from any of the guys on that roster, except for Mostert, who can't stay on the field. He doesn't trust Sermon yet. He doesn't trust Mitchell yet. He's looking for that next man up. And when Wilson comes back, he's like, I know what I have with Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, makes sense. What do you think about Cordero Patterson? We talked about him last week. Yeah, we talked about him last week on the show. We already told you to pick him up. I want to say
Collins already peeped you to the way the trend was moving on that team, and it looks like that guy is going to be a nice fit in that offense.
I'm just going to say I put Mike called it on the show sheet from last week.
But did you start it?
Well, I mean,
I never picked him up.
There's a big difference in picking somebody up off waivers and then watching them go off on your bench. If you're picking up a guy that you really feel convicted about, like Elijah Mitchell goes for all the fab. Like I know you blew your entire fab in our league on Elijah.
In every league.
Got you 4 points. Yeah, because you started him. You blew your wad on him, and you had to start him because of how much you invested in him.
I didn't start him in every league. I only started him in the leagues where I absolutely needed a running back, and he got 9 points, and he got a touchdown called back.
Right, but why'd you pick him up?
Because he's on the 49ers, and he's gonna get points. He's the new Raheem Mostert.
That's why I didn't pick him up. It's because I don't trust the 49ers or the Patriots backfields.
He's the only healthy running back now, so he'll be in all my starting lineups next week.
He's also banged up.
I
know, but he's went back in the game. He's good.
Mike Shanahan is gonna run for Kyle if he can't come next week. Mike will be in. He'll be running the football.
And I'm with you there. I wasn't going to spend money on Mitchell because I don't trust anything that Shanahan says or does. He's just the biggest liar out there.
That is the narrative in fantasy football, Mike, that you have not heard. Anytime you bring up Shanahan's name on any podcast with anybody who's under 40,
it's hatred.
It's hatred. It's pure hatred because they can't figure him out. He's like the new Belichick. They hate Belichick. Yeah. They hate Belichick. They hate Shanahan, and because they don't have him pegged into their matrix, and then so
he's galaxy braining and he's failing miserably to provide any insight in what he's just like Matt Nagy. There's no
Matt Nagy's just terrible.
There's no practical reason to start Andy Dalton in any frame of mind, but he's got it stuck in his head that he's a genius for doing it, and everybody else is stupid for calling for Justin Fields.
The Bears are lucky they beat the Bengals. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Nagy at all. His offense, how many points they score last week? 20? How many points they score against the Rams? You know what I mean? Like, he is a bad play caller. He is a bad offensive mind. It's not good to have him there.
Better at that than coaching, though.
All right, I got one more running back, and then we'll get into wide receivers. What do you guys think? If James White's out there,
I can't believe James White's available. That's crazy.
Yeah, I would rather. I mean, White is at least got a floor. I'm not the kind of guy that wants to pick up a floor player, but he's got one. So if you're that type of player that's just kind of risk averse and you want somebody to score points every week, James White's your guy. And he had a big game. He scored a touchdown, and it's going to get a lot of attention. So if he was low rostership before, he's not going to be anymore, because when you score a touchdown on the waiver wire, everybody's just scrambling.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
The Elijah Mitchell effect. He breaks off a 39-yard touchdown, and the whole world wants him.
Well, that's what happens. I'll tell you somebody who I dropped who I'm disappointed in myself. J.D. McKissick came out big last week, and if he was dropped like he did, like I did, he might be available. Might grab him up. He looks like he does have a role. With
Heineke and Alex Smith are palpable. So if you're thinking, oh, Fitz did throw to McKissick, well,
yeah,
Fitz
he's out.
That's done. That narrative's over.
Yeah. As soon as Heineke drops on the field, he's got eyes for 3 guys.
Yep.
He's got eyes for Terry McLaurin, as he should. Not even tight end. Logan Thomas barely got targeted last week against the Giants. He was open, but he couldn't. Heineke's blind. Like, he's like, I'm going to look for McKissick. I'm going to look for Humphreys, and I'm going to look for McLaurin.
Well, they're open, so it works.
Yeah, but the other open receivers, or even McLaurin, who wasn't open when he telegraphed
They'll
that
watch film. They'll watch film. They can see that. Coaches will point that out to him.
Yeah, Heineke's going to check down so much, and that makes McKissick a dangerous PPR option. Like, I had him all last year when Alex Smith was going, because it's like free money. You have a guy that's a great receiving back. He's going to be on the field a lot, and now he's getting the volume back. I love that. Give me J.D. McKissick off waivers as long as Heineke's on the field. That's the one bright spot I see in Washington's offense is McKissick is just free money.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, let's do wide receivers. I think everyone's going to agree this guy is probably on your waiver wire. Who's the number one wide receiver to pick up? I already had him on my team and dropped him, sadly. Kept McCole Hardman instead. Who? Yes. Rondale Moore is probably on your waiver wire, and it looks like you guys were on the wrong Moore. Should have been on Rondale Moore, not Elijah Moore, because Rondale Moore is Percy Harvin 2.0. Yes.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. The dude's electric.
Yeah.
One thing I can say is that out of all the teams I have 46 season-long teams, not counting best ball. I believe I had, other than on a couple really like 12, 13 starter leagues, I had Rondale Moore and Tony Pollard on all of my benches, just blowing up my bench points and just crushing my soul. Like, I had one team that had like Dak and Amari stacked, and then of course Pollard and Rondale on my bench just lighting it up and going nuclear. And I'm just like, I love these guys, but I'm not starting them over these other guys.
Yeah. Well,
I only had him on one team. I picked him up, and then I redropped him to keep Nicole Hardman. Who I think is going to have a good his best season yet, but I think Rondale Moore is going to have a better season.
That's assessment.
Well, let me tell you somebody else you should pick up if you haven't. Last week we talked about him a little bit. Zach Pascal. Apparently, he's just a touchdown. He's a touchdown monster.
He's a vulture.
Yeah, total vulture, and he'll continue to vulture.
Yeah,
and we've already mentioned KJ Osborne.
Oh yeah, the K to the J.
Why not?
Yeah,
if you got room.
That offense, they had the spot open for a third receiving option. It wasn't going to be Conklin because he's a blocking tight end. KJ Osborne came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere.
I have friends that are diehard Vikings fans who didn't know who the hell he was until last week.
Yeah, he's like 24 years old. Like, he's been like
this year's Fulgham, which is saying something, and it's also saying to don't hold your breath on it lasting. But for right now, when they're facing these terrible defenses, the third option in this team isn't that bad.
And my man Captain Kirk looks like he's delivering the ball really well in 2021.
Yeah, touchdown pass.
Ridiculous.
All right, tight ends. Ugh.
Eesh. Oh, hey, James.
There's nobody.
Not making it to your St. Patty's Day parade this year. Hey, forget about it.
What about Max Williams? Big
Oh, yeah.
game last week.
Oof. No. That's Jason Point. Big day.
Dan Arnold.
No. Out.
Okay. That's all I have. There's nobody.
Not
In
us.
the tail of the donkey, I suppose you can go after one of those guys. But
Right.
Yeah, that's why the tight ends have such a premium. There's nobody out there to get.
I charted all the tight ends last year for my DraftKings tool on the NimblewNumbers.com website, and I can tell you this: tight ends are like shit. They're everywhere. Like it's just, you don't know what's going to happen each time. Somebody would just be like the number one scorer out of nowhere randomly. Jimmy Graham would be like 28 points. You're like, what the fuck? And then Jimmy Graham benched.
Rob Gronkowski goes down. And that's a smarter play than going after a guy that had a blow up performance.
Yeah.
Any defenses? I've got a sneaky defense. You have a defense, Scotty?
I got one. Bo, you got one? I'll let Bo go.
Carolina.
Yeah, that's mine too. You stole.
Who'd you say? Who'd you say?
Carolina.
That's mine too.
You son of a bitch! We're all stealing.
It's a three-way. We did it. We finally agreed. Carolina, right? That's the one. That's the one. And they're playing Houston this week.
I only have a few defense leagues, but I drafted Carolina in almost all of them because their turnover forward. They force turnovers.
Nice. And guess what? I'm in the Carolinas currently right now. Happy OBX. But that's what the OBX is. You don't know what the OBX is? It's called the Outer Banks.
I looked it up. It's Outer Banks, and then the X is thrown in there because they're bored.
No. It's thrown in there.
Spicy cakes. Spicy cake.
You can't make a bumper sticker with 2 letters on it because they'll think we're OBGYNs.
No,
like obstetricians.
Hey, I actually did. I got
baby over here.
I got a sticker. OBX. The X is for money, I believe. I think that's what it stands for.
Latinx is like we don't want to determine whether it's male or female, so we're going to call it Latinx.
I like
OBX. Neutral. Outer Banks is gender neutral.
It's gender neutral. Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of genders here. I can tell you that. I'm not on the beach checking any swimsuits for sure, but today we had a fun day at the beach. We went down. We did body surfing. We did boogie board surfing. There's surfboards here. I'm actually go out and ride a little bit, not surf, but just kind of ride around on it a little bit. Kind of like above it, like a lifeguard tomorrow. But doing a good time at the pool with the family, hanging out, drinking beer, enjoying. My wife. It's always nice to come to the beach because I get to have sex at the beach. It's nice. So that's always good. Taking naps, eating food. Good times. Get a podcast. So no complaints for me. Every time I get to go to the beach, it's been like a couple days here and there. But
he invited me to come on the show because Rose declined his offer. She's
no!
Like, no, I don't want to be near. Shit,
no, she's like not twice in the same day.
You're gonna pay me $50 to $100 each appearance.
Well, Denny Carter tweeted at me. It's so funny. He said. Somebody said, "This is what you're worth," or something per hour, and he tweeted at me. He said, "Scott, you owe me $838 for my appearance because his fee is 69 words, $69 per word or something." I don't know. It was pretty funny. It was really hilarious.
Before we get into Elevate, Mitigate, Eviscerate, did you guys see? I saw it through Denny Carter getting dragged. There was like a baseball podcaster who says he charges like $100 per episode.
That was the jab I just threw. Is that
okay?
I commented on that.
Rose wanted $50 to $100 for her appearance.
Okay.
Denny got dragged. I dragged that guy. Denny got dragged.
Well, they just that's how I discovered the thread. Like somebody made a classic funny Denny joke, like we charged Denny $1,000 to come on ours or something like that. But then I saw that guy, and Twitter just lit his ass up. They started to do that thing where they like. They're writing like, so I charge this, and it's a long fly ball to deep center field. Castellano, yeah. Everybody started doing the Castellano thing on it.
I love that. That's so funny.
Okay. All right. Let's do Elevate, Mitigate, and Eviscerate. I'm starting out with Elevate. Kirk Cousins versus Seattle.
Yeah. You reading off the score sheet, bro? Is that what you're doing here?
Hey, we're simpatico. Me and my co-host, we do it.
Number one player.
I love the matchup. I
Me too.
love the matchup.
Me too. I love it too.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Garbage points, whatever. He's going to go for 30 again.
40 pounds. And he's a 6'3", 240 and runs a 4.4 like Derrick Henry, because that Titans passing game was dead to rights that whole game, and that's why they still leaned on Derrick Henry. They couldn't pass the ball against Seattle. They could run it at will, and they didn't discover that until the third quarter, because that Seattle defense was locking the Tennessee Titans offense down the first half. And they're like, you know what? We got a little bit of wiggle room on the running game, so we're just going to pound the rock, because they weren't hitting Julio. They hit Julio a couple times that toe tap that was supposed to be a touchdown, but there were no big plays down the field. So I don't see how Kirk Cousins is going to be airing it out, so to speak, when all he has to do is turn around and hand to 33.
First of all, 33 looks like he's weakening by the minute, and second of all, I agree with you. Seattle, put your money on Seattle for that game. Again, we're talking fantasy points. They're going to lose that game. They're going to be trailing, and they're going to be throwing the football. And in that game, the Titans, A.J. Brown missed like 4 catches. Like that could have been a highly different scoring. Like that was a bad game. That was the first time I've gotten so angry at A.J. Brown. Like the dude was just dropping balls, like just looked scared, looked weird. I'd never seen him look like that before.
Did you see his tweet?
No.
So he tweeted out right after the game. He's like, I got people in my family saying I couldn't even cut COVID tonight.
Right. It was weird. It was weird.
Himself. I couldn't even catch COVID tonight, according to my family.
Why does every Titans player have to come after a game and be like, I'm so sorry for disappointing the whole world today? It was Taylor Lewan the first week. You know what I mean? Now it's A.J. Brown. What's going on here?
Well,
I don't know, but I was upset. That's the first time I've ever felt that way towards that man.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
If they had lost.
Yeah.
Like he looked scared to get hit. Like he pulled up on one catch where he could have made the catch, and he was like very un-AJ Brownish. So
tiptoeing the tulips there. Okay. Well, yeah, I like the Kirk Cousins. Bo, anybody that you want to add to that that you would start this week that maybe previous weeks would be on your bench?
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, you son of a bitch.
I like that.
Okay. Call. I'm going to jump in. I think it's a great
My
call.
favorite waiver quarterback. He's a guy I can see starting more than 1 week because their schedule really even stays open up. So I love the play because he's got upside for days with that weaponry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know, man. My whole attitude towards him has completely shifted in 2 games of 2021 football on a different team. Like it was all the Jets.
It was great.
Yeah. He is serviceable to very serviceable depending on the matchup. So,
well, he's also priced down. A question for you, Bo McBigtime. Would you start this week? And this is the guy who I'm going to elevate myself, but I'm wondering if you would. Tony Pollard, is he a must start now? Flex start after last week? Really show what he can do.
I want to play Philly, which is a similar matchup to the Bucs. The strength of that defense is up front, the front 4. Fletcher Cox really causes havoc up front. We saw the 49ers running game struggle against them too. So we're looking at a game where they're going to run more that speed personnel where Zeke and Pollard are on the field at the same time. Sometimes even fullback, or he's the tailback and Pollard's at wing, and they run that little end around play that scored the touchdown against LA yesterday. They're going to put Pollard in space and take advantage of the strength that they have in just the athleticism edge that they have over the Eagles. Because the Eagles, aside from their front 4 and their middle linebacker, they're about as unathletic as a defense gets.
Yeah.
They can cover anybody, but they get after the quarterback, which covers that up.
Well, I can't believe they stopped Kyle Pitts. I think that's just more of Matt Ryan's.
They didn't stop Kyle Pitts. He was wide open all game.
Well,
Arthur Smith and Matt Ryan stopped Kyle Pitts.
Matt Ryan. Well, he bounced back. All right, let's talk about another running back. Mike, who do you have as somebody that you might want to elevate this week in the running back?
Elijah Mitchell, give it to me this week.
Mitchell.
He's the only healthy running back. Why are you have to start him? He's a must start.
You don't.
Yes, you do. First of all, they're playing the Packers. That's not a good run D. They're going to run the football. They're going to run the football with Elijah Mitchell. He gets a touchdown. He gets you at least 16 points, and get him if you got him. Get him in your lineup.
And Bo says mitigate him. Bo says mitigate him. He's a mitigate candidate for Bo, apparently.
He was a never elevate for me. So
Never elevate. So he is a keep on your bench for Bo.
First time. We'll see who's right.
Okay, we've got a dividing line here.
Debating whether or not to start Jimmy Garoppolo or Justin Fields next week in Scott Fishbowl. That's the challenge I have, because Jimmy Garoppolo is going to air it out. Good or bad or indifferent, he's going to have to throw the ball a lot more with one healthy running back.
You know who else I like that Bo Big Time doesn't like? I like Cordarrelle Patterson versus the Giants. Go ahead and insert that guy in your lineup.
He was on.
Aaron Jones now has 4 touchdowns, by the way.
No,
damn.
Yeah,
How many does Aaron? Is he? Are they all rushing? Because I have Aaron Rodgers going in a game.
Receiving.
3 receiving? Oh yeah. I am going to go 5 and 2.
Rodgers has 4 touchdown passes, 3 to Jones, 1 to Tunyon, and Aaron Jones just ran one in for 1 yard. So he's
so I just gotta say, shout out John Helmkamp, who traded me Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones this offseason. These wins are brought to you by him. In some of my dynasty leagues, just so everybody knows. I think it's the Degenerate, something like that. I'll check later and talk some shit online. But thanks, John. You're a good man, bro. Appreciate whoever you got, Zach Lawrence or Fields or whoever it was. I don't know.
Fields.
Did we get a running back from you, Scotty Stacks?
You did. You got Tony Pollard. That was mine. And
right.
My second guy was Patterson. You
all right. Let's do wide receivers.
Marvin Jones is
yes.
And you don't know that yet. You know, you're not paying attention.
You're not paying attention, Bo Big Time. Come on.
Get him in your lineup.
Are you still on Laviska Shenault? Because I can't wait to feature him in my mitigate section.
He might be in your
yeah, he should
be. I can't wait to put him number 1 in mitigate.
Oh, I've got your boy DJ
Marvin Jones.
He's in there too.
Your boy Marvin Jones ran the 3rd most routes of all the wide receivers for Jacksonville. That means they're wide receiver 3 on the depth chart.
It doesn't matter. That's who he that's the only person on the team he has a connection with. That's his safety valve. It's Marvin Jones.
Same number of targets as Laviska, tied for the most on the team. So you got to mitigate.
Yeah, what did Laviskas have? He had like 1.8 points. What do you end up with?
He didn't have any yards. That's the problem. I'm not saying don't mitigate Laviska. I'm saying mitigate both or anybody on that offense. That offense is toxic. It is caca. It is bad.
Yeah, and there's only one person you should play, and you can play him this week versus Arizona, where they're going to be down 50 points.
Yes,
and they're going to throw Marvin Jones the football in Arizona.
Osborne than Marvin Jones.
I'm going to say if you have
Big Time.
I know
he's too spicy.
Such an instigator. If you have DJ Shark, mitigate him. If you have
if
you have James Robinson, mitigate him.
Yes, every Jaguar, every one of them,
except Marvin Jones.
Okay, so I have a question. What about Sterling Shepard? Sterling Shepard to me, make sure you
elevate.
Yeah, get him in there, dude. That guy is the wide receiver 1 for the Giants.
He's the wide receiver 1. That is all Daniel Jones is looking for is Sterling Shepard.
His best friend.
Stays healthy. I love that guy.
Yeah. Okay, good. We're all agreeing on Sterling Shepard. Okay, and then I got another one. Brandon Cooks. Start that guy every week. He's just.
Oh, I'm so sad. I slept on Brandon Cooks. He just went by me on every single draft, and he's still good. It doesn't matter.
He's still Brandon Cooks. He's all the targets. He's all the targets.
But without Tyrod Taylor, who has a bum hammy now.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the week to elevate him though, Scotty Stacks.
If we know Tyrod's back, then yeah. But but if it's Davis Mills, hell no.
Who's Davis Mills going to throw the football to? The best wide receiver on the team. I would throw the ball.
Davis Mills is going to throw the ball into the turf because he's getting sacked like a billion times.
This might not be the week to start him, Scott, because they are playing Carolina.
flex and you need a guy, Brandon Cooks, I'm saying I would start him. He's my third start out of those guys.
How about this? I got a guy that he's a must start now. Mike Williams.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
10 targets. He at least 10 targets every game.
Justin Herbert's over 300 yards every
I'm
game.
starting him everywhere. I started him last week in DFS, just everywhere. Him and Cooper Kupp were the paramount landmarks of my mediocre to above average DFS.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk it right now because Mike wants to reveal his team score. So I'll tell you, Bo's score was 156.
Oh,
my score was 160.
Your best score?
Bo's best score was 156. Mine was 160. What was yours?
This guy's 2-0, bro. I had multiple teams in the 160s.
Oh, you're 1-0 because the first week you grandfathered in, but the first week where you're collecting cash.
Well, I didn't officially put myself in this one, so I'm not going to take cash. So, no, I didn't. You have to check in with me on a Saturday. So I won't take your cash.
Just like his bet against Sam Darnold, we're going to be week 3 onward. And
yeah, we can do week 3 onward. I told Scott. I told him he has to check in with me.
1-1, so it's even across the board.
So far, I'm 2-0 in fake money. Week 3, check in with me, Scott. It is a deadline, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting involved. So I can go against you guys.
I believe I won week 1.
No. Bad memory. Bad memory, Scotty Stacks.
Bo won?
Yeah.
This guy.
No, Mike, I know you won. I'm just trying to think.
I had a higher best ball score too.
Oh yeah, okay, you did. Okay, so it's 1-1. We're 1-1-1, but here's what I remember: in our head-to-head, the cumulative points, I'm up 30 on you, which does feel pretty nice. So
we didn't agree on any cumulative ones, but
we're just keeping track of that because, like, that's just like a food for thought when people say stuff like I'm like 9-2, but I've only won like if you won by like 3 more points or something, that's something like that. Anyway, I will say
tight end. I have a tight end.
Okay, give me your tight end.
How about Austin Hooper?
Oh,
with that bang. Yes, with that bang. Look, if you have Austin Hooper, they're playing a middling Chicago defense versus tight ends, and he will throw him the ball. I'm saying if you have him.
The ball in week 1, no.
But now they don't have Landry, so
right, they're out of people.
They're out of people.
35 times, they're going to run it 45 times.
Yeah, but you saw last year when they were out of receivers what they did with their tight ends. They throw the ball to their tight ends. He's going to get targets.
Bryant got targets too last year.
Why wouldn't you pick up Njoku? Why wouldn't you pick up Harrison Bryant? Because they're the same guy, and you never know which one's going to go off.
You're right. All 3 of them. I'm saying Hooper has the highest probability of getting 10 points. It's a 10. Yeah. It's a yucky tight end situation, dude. If you don't have Waller, Kelsey, you could throw your boy Pitts in there. He does look like he's breaking that 10-point mark. If you don't have one of those guys, Kittle. If you don't have one of those guys, the shelf. Tanyan looks like Logan Thomas. There's a couple other ones. But if you don't have one of those like first 6 or 7 guys, the shelf, it's a Mariana's Trench for points.
Yeah, because they're all the same. Like you can just throw a dart, pick up any tight end off the wire, and they're going to score the same number of points.
Listen, this is what we do on the show, Bo. Okay, you've been watching for a year and a half. We give you our take. I'm saying Austin Hooper. Okay.
God.
Bo doesn't understand that we don't all have to agree. That's what's so funny.
Austin Hooper, out of all the garbage out there, looks like the best one to me this week.
Out of all the garbage.
Can I throw one in there? Because
sure.
I like this one.
Okay.
Despite his touchdown being called back, Donald Parham, he looked really good.
Now you're participating, Bo. There we go.
There we go. I like that.
There we go.
Donald Parham.
I'm into that.
I like it too.
Because touchdown upside is about all you can hope for off the waiver wire with tight ends. Not some make-believe fairy tale volume that Austin Hooper might or might not get. I want guys that are going to be able to score 1 or 2 touchdowns at any moment's notice, and that's Donald Parham because he's a gigantic human being that can just post up like Jimmy Graham and score touchdowns.
I love it. That's exactly right. All right, let's jump.
I love it too. Gentlemen's bet: Austin Hooper outscores Donald Parham this week.
All right, that's it. Sounds like a good bet.
I'm gonna go 2-0.
Put it down. Put it down.
Write it down.
Put
You
the
know I'm all about that action.
that action, boss. All right, let's jump to mitigate because I've got somebody.
Defense. We all agree it's the same guy on the wire. I like Carolina versus Houston. That's a great. You can get him on your your starting roster. All right.
Like inferred. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody who I'm kind of just I'm probably going to pick the wrong week to do this, but I said last week to sit down Ryan Tannehill, and I think you should still kind of watch him and just kind of see what's happening. I think I trust AJ Brown. I trust Julio Jones a little bit, but I don't trust the whole offense. They leaned on Derrick Henry. Now he's getting the ball. It's kind of good for Tannehill, but I'm a little confused about what's going on there. So I wouldn't say if you have a better quarterback, I wouldn't dip down to but he's somebody who, like, right now I'm disappointed if I have him because he's a bottom 15 to 18 to 20 quarterback. That's not what you drafted him as. You drafted him as like your Stafford. So.
Yeah, I thought about him. I actually like the matchup. So
I do him too, but we'll see what happens.
They're playing the Colts.
God.
I expect him to have a better week. My guy is Joey Burrow, which it's weird. He's playing Pittsburgh. It's weird. It's the difference between fantasy and regular football. On the field, you're just like, this guy's probably got like 30 points. And then you go look and it's 18 points. He keeps getting you 18 points somehow. I don't understand it.
I had him in DraftKings in a couple spots, and until he threw those last 2 touchdowns, he had like 4 points. And I was just like, because he had 3 picks, he didn't have very many yards, and he looked sharp doing terrible work. Like you're like, man, he's so poised in the pocket. He's moving around, and then like, oh, never mind. The Bengals are still terrible. And then he does a touchdown pass to each of his boys in the fourth quarter, and he ends up with 18 points. You're like, that's not bad. But you're like, I was hoping this guy would get me 25 to 30 because he had a pretty good matchup against the Bears. The Bears secondary is pretty bad. And it didn't come out that way because the Bears got after him. And
my favorite play in that game by him was when he ran out of bounds and then he slowed up and let the guy run into him. Do you remember that play? And then he like fell down like LeBron James, like he did a soccer flop. Like it was great.
Should have spent 8 minutes on the floor with the poke in the eye like LeBron. I was seeing 3 baskets.
It was just beautiful because when you watched it in real speed, it really did look like the guy kind of wrecked him a little bit. But then when you watch the slow-mo, he just like he saw it the whole time. Like he just was like he created the angle so that guy was gonna either have to like kind of do a juke move not to run into him, and he just paused right there. He puts his shoulder into him too,
and the guy's not thinking that he's even going to do that. And he has no ability to slow down and avoid that if the guy does it all of a sudden. Joe Burrow is one of my favorite like quarterback personalities in the league.
I like him.
And I just hope he does well continuously because he's got so much talent.
I think he does too.
Yeah, but for fantasy, you got to be careful because he's very matchup dependent. He's going to put up some points from week to week, but every once in a while he's going to throw in a dud.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, that's the thing. It's hard to kind of pick your mitigate guys because he could have a great week this week, but it's just you're looking at the matchup, and so far what we've seen is somebody that is, for fantasy purposes, basically kind of mediocre. So I don't like the matchup. I'm going to say go ahead and put him on the bench. You got anybody that you would think off the top of your head that you should just, hey, I don't want to start him this week, I don't like the matchup? Or
it's really tough because a lot of the guys that I do draft, I don't plan on benching them for any reason. Like I like to try to get a top tier player at each position. So I have to make those choices until somebody gets hurt, for example, or if somebody starts lighting it up on my bench and I can't ignore him, like Rondale Moore. I'm going to find spots for him, and I might have to make some decisions based on either somebody getting hurt or somebody on my bench just lighting up fireworks or picking up somebody off waivers that you can't spend a bunch of fab and just put them on the bench because what's the point? So at quarterback, for me, it's going to come down to if I'm streaming the position, I'm hoping that I can make the right choice on which guy to pick up. So obviously Cousins and Carr are going to be popular. Darnold's going to be somewhere in that mix too.
What about Matt Ryan? What do you think this week?
I think what really scared me was his week 1 performance. And like I was lukewarm coming into the season on him, and then the week 1 just completely turned me bone dry on him. Like I'm just like, nope, that's it. That's all I needed to see. This guy is ass as grass. He's toast. He's done. I'm not expecting anything out of Matt Ryan this year. And then he backs it up with 2 pick sixes in week 2 against the Bucks. He threw the ball around better because the Bucks secondary is banged up, and they actually came up with a decent scheme, but his decision making is so bad. Like we've seen him overcome that bad decision making with Julio Jones being on the field. Without Julio, he's having to make choices, and that's not his strong suit.
Him not having Julio, man, it just changes the game for him. You know, Kyle Pitts, he does look like he's going to be a premier elite talent, but he's not going to step on the field and be Julio Jones in his first 2 games.
Julio Jones is one of the top 5 receivers to ever walk on an NFL field.
Right.
Kyle Pitts might get there one day, but he doesn't have that presence yet. He's got all the tools, all the skills, all the athletic ability. But he's got Julio Jones, the aura, the fear that goes into a DB's mind. Like, I have to beat Julio Jones today. It's going to be a long day in the office because I got to cover Julio Jones or try that.
I have to tackle that man.
Yeah, I have to tackle a guy who's 6'3", 225, and runs a 4.3. Good
and
luck.
He's built like a robot. Like he's built like he's like a cyborg.
He is.
Right.
He's not a human.
I'm back, boys.
He had to pee.
Yeah.
I'd go to the bathroom.
All right, I said Joe Burrow for my mitigate. All right, let's do running backs.
Yeah. Bo, who would you mitigate? Who you started last week? Somebody you're like, I can't trust him anymore. Well, your boy Nyheim Hines.
No, because he's going to be flex worthy most of the year. He's a streaky guy that you take your lumps on. That's kind of the roster construction. What you're starting each week is you have your starters that are established that you're not taking out for any reason unless they get hurt. Nyheim Hines is one of those flex plays where you throw them in, and if they get 3 or 4 points and they lay an egg, then you're like, well, okay, because next week he might put up 25. And I'm okay with that because I want my starters, my established guys, to be the ones that I count on. And then I want my flex guys to be the guys where they might do this, but it depends on which one you have that goes off. You hope both of them go off, but one of them might go off and the other one might be a dud. Nyheim Hines is locked in for me. Unless I have better options, more stable options across my roster, I like Nyheim Hines every week.
So, Mike, what would you do if you had Nyheim Hines? Would you start him? Would you bench him? Would you outflex him? Would you Denny card him and only have him as
I'm not nearly as high on that guy as you are. Either one of you guys are.
RB15 last year.
I know.
RB 43.
Right. For me, yeah, he's definitely in the conversation to mitigate. I didn't even think about him.
He played the Rams.
Right. I haven't put a lot of thought into that matchup. So, I'm not as high on him as you guys are. So this week,
playing the Titans.
Yeah, Titans. So
it's up, and exactly this. Carson Wentz might not play. He's got 2 sprained ankles. So Jacob Eason instead. Guess who he's going to be checking down to a lot.
Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor. No.
Yeah, him too. Yes. They threw the ball 46% of their passes to running backs the first week, and it wasn't much lower than that the next week. JT got a lot more work in week 2 though.
My guy was, and again, this is only if you have a better option. Like, doing the mitigate is hard because you're talking about kind of players that you were expecting to be premier, like someone like Nyheim Hines, who, he's drafted in the first 10 rounds. Like, James Robinson, to me, he's going in rounds 3 or 4. He just looks like under Urban Meyer, he's kind of a 9 or 10 point guy. So if you have a better option, I would do it. That's who I came up with for this week.
Same one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
so I agree. I'm not, he wasn't my main guy, but I like it a lot, and I had him in a
It
couple of
hurts me
leagues.
because I was really low on ETN, especially with the landing spot. I thought that landing spot was the worst thing that could have happened to a guy like ETN with all that explosive upside, because they were going to try to pigeonhole him into a role that he wasn't made out for.
Mm-hmm.
And that
The Percy Harvin role.
Yeah, that's a LaVisca role. They need a guy who can run routes and catch the ball, and that's not ETN's game. ETN's game is give me the ball and I make plays in space, but I don't catch the ball. I don't run routes. All I do is stand there and get in, and hopefully you throw it to me. And so when he was out, I was like, oh, that's great because J-Rob will get more work. Well,
Me too.
obviously, Urban Meyer doesn't believe that his best running back should get work because he hasn't given it to him.
There's no game script for it too. Like they suck,
That's
and
because
they're not trying to establish the run on that team. Like they're just like, hey, let's take the training wheels off Trevor Lawrence and throw the ball 50 times, and we're gonna lose, and it's okay because I'm allowed to lose right now, and he's allowed to lose.
And that's the crazy part is Urban Meyer's college offense was all about establishing the run. It's a power spread. They have two backs and a tight end H-back on the field at all times, and their wide receivers run verts all day. They're just running wind sprints. And, yeah, you get guys like Michael Thomas that can be versatile, or guys like Terry McLaurin can run a 4-3 down the field. And then you get a guy back there who can throw a deep ball, and you got a really crazy good Ohio State offense. But that whole offense is based on the running game. And so you would think that it would translate to the NFL and, hey, we're going to run the ball down your throat and then beat you over the top with play action. That's all I thought when I pictured Urban Meyer as an NFL head coach. And it turns out he doesn't have a plan. He goes out there and goes, we got great athletes on our offensive side of the ball and a terrible defense. Let's air it out. It's like, oh, yeah, you can air it out, except you don't have a stinking plan. Your stupid play calling is dumb. Like everything he does is just turns to stone. Like, everything he's touched so far has turned to stone. And it's bad. He's not going to last the whole year, guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
it big time.
Didn't he have a heart attack one time? Like, did that happen?
He might have had one. His doctors told him he was at a very high risk, and that happened twice.
Yeah.
When he left Utah. That happened when he left Florida.
I might have a heart attack.
So he could get out with a heart attack, right? Like that's probably what's going to happen.
In the midst of an upcoming scandal. So, like this guy, when he starts losing, or like his recruiting trail doesn't go quite as well as he was hoping,
There's a scam.
He's out of town. He's like Bernie Madoff.
Yeah. He's a
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. I'm just trying to keep it rolling here. You want to do wide receivers?
I just wanted to jump right in off that and say, speaking of that, DJ Shark is falling prey to the Urban Meyer curse as well.
DJ Shark, LaVisca Chenault.
Yeah.
Kenny Galladay.
Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool only has 19 fantasy points. I'm not mitigating him, but holy moly, that's concerning.
But Deontay Johnson got injured bad at the end of that game.
Oh, really?
It's Juju season. It's Claypool season.
I didn't see that because I was in the car driving. So.
I don't know the update. Do you know the update, Bo? I know that he couldn't walk.
Yeah, Deontay avoided serious injury. He's week to week. I think
he's week to week.
It's an MCL sprain, like the other couple of guys got knee sprain scares, like Andy Dalton bone bruise on his knee, so he's probably week to week. But yeah, it's either way. You have to look at an offense, and even if they're going to be down, look what the Jaguars have done when they were down big the first 2 weeks. They tried to throw the ball a ton of times, and they weren't that good at it. So I'm mitigating all three of these guys because I don't trust that entire passing offense. No matter how many times they throw it, they haven't shown the ability to do anything with it. And Chark was that player last year too. So I'm not blaming it on Urban Meyer when DJ Chark doesn't show up. Give him a 12-target game and he comes up with 3 because he can't get open. That's just bad planning. And The guy plays soft. He's a gigantic dude, runs a 4.3, and he can't get open. He's just like Kenny Galladay. He's just like Darius Slayton. So, yeah, you can mitigate all these guys because they're not it. Laviska is the
And
most
Kenny Galladay. And you can mitigate Kenny Galladay.
Of course. if you're looking at
He
these
yells
guys,
at his quarterback, so you got to mitigate him.
I actually love that. That was the best.
I didn't see it. I still haven't seen it. I just heard about it.
That's
It
great.
reminded me of Terrell Owens at Donovan McNabb. It was diva for diva's sake, except Terrell Owens actually put up numbers. Kenny Galladay doesn't.
No.
Okay, tight ends. Basically, I agree with Bo. Anybody but the top like 6 or 7 tight ends, they're all mitigatable. So
Yeah.
that is a valid point, Bo. I'll give you that. Here's my guys for tight end. I'm gonna say Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry because I think one of them is going to have a big week this week, and I don't know which one it's going to be. I think one of them scores a touchdown versus the Saints, and I have no idea. So therefore, I can't pick between them. I'm
Hunter
mitigating
Henry's
them.
a mitigate. He's got 10 points in 2 games. Get Hunter Henry away from me. That's terrible.
Maybe this is the week though. I mean,
if nuts were candy and butts, you'd be full of them. So I mean,
I don't know, man. I could see Belichick. I put down Hunter Henry as my guy. That's who I was going to put, and then I was like, I'm putting them both down.
okay, well, that's fine. You can. I'm just saying Hunter Henry is a straight mitigate for me, and then it's your boy Blake Jarwin for both you guys. That guy is mitigatable.
Yes, for sure. He's evisceratable. How about defense? Colts versus Tennessee. Colts. I don't like that D.
No,
Put him on your bench. I don't like the matchup this week.
Yeah, big
no.
Yeah, big disappointment. All right, let's do eviscerate. How about the guy that we told you to pick up last week for quarterback? Cut him. Jameis Winston. Garbage. I will never, ever, unless there's a weird streaming option and I'm forced to play him, I will never, ever. I was so excited about what I saw in week 1, and I thought Sean Payton is a quarterback whisperer. And then I watched the way he played and the way he got nervous in the pocket and just made weird little movements because he was nervous and scared.
28 total yards.
He stinks. He's still Jameis Winston. Get him off your team. Sorry we told you to pick him up last week.
Yeah, and then we have a friend in the comments, Michael Chap is asking, "Hey guys, big question here. I have Herbert in redraft, and he's been very off this year. Do I go after Hurts for Herbert? Another person has Murray as their QB1. Any ideas? They've got 2 QBs in Hurts and Murray, and he can give Herbert for him. Would you guys do that, or would you stay with Herbert?
They're the same to me. I think they're both going to be awesome. They're like
say Herbert.
They'll be neck and neck.
And no, Herbert has not been. He hasn't been off. He's been throwing touchdowns all over the field. They've been called back by penalties.
Same with Hurts too. So,
but Hurts looked like trash last week. Like the
no, he did not.
Exposed him. He had a 48% completion percentage. That's bad.
That's bad. Jason Verrett was out too. That's bad.
Yeah, that nice 90-yard touchdown that got toe tackled that didn't get in, and then he had that 40-yard Jalen Reagor barely went out of bounds touchdown that didn't count. So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I like them both too because Hurts' rushing upside's massive, but Herbert hasn't looked off. I'm just saying.
No, his receivers have looked
Hurts
off.
is not as good of a quarterback, but he can put up bigger numbers because of his legs. Herbert has looked great, and he's going to be more consistent. But it's just like you can't go wrong with either one of these guys.
yeah. No, I'm with you. You can't go wrong with either one. I wouldn't make any weird trade to flip.
That's a neutral trade.
I agree. Are you guys eviscerating anybody else?
Carlos Hyde gets eviscerated. Russell Gage gets eviscerated.
Yeah.
Washington defense gets eviscerated.
Callaway.
Marquez Callaway.
Eviscerated.
Throw him out.
Elijah Moore. Eviscerated.
Miami D.
Eviscerated.
Even though I think they're still a good D, I mean, if Tua is out, that D is going to suffer, dude. I'm
Let it be eviscerated. Let it be done.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll say to pick them back up next week, but that is a letdown. Tua's only got a rib injury, so I mean, I guess he's week to week, but without him behind center, it's just they're going to lose games.
MVS based on today and week 1.
Oh yeah, throw
Right.
him into the evisceration. I don't have anybody else really. I'm not trying to eviscerate too many people. But I think we threw out some
It's
people.
hard.
All right, let's go to stop. We did forget to say that Elevate, Mitigate, and Eviscerate was presented by Underdog Fantasy. You can play all season long, rivals, pick'ems. Get in there, get the over unders on your parlays, your plays, max your money up 20 times. It's beautiful. I love it. Let's also now jump into our top DFS stacks of cash.
Stacks of cash.
Stacks of cash. Presented by runthesims.com/nibble. Go down there, check it out. We love Run the Sims. They're amazing. Justin Freeman over there, the mind behind all the tools we use every week to put our fantasy stuff together. Mike, who is your best high-priced stack of the week? Who do you like? What's your top DFS stack?
Okay, I have a little wrinkle here because I want to add this to the stacks of cash. So
Stacks of
we
cash,
like
go.
to do a 3-tier system. You know, the primo tier, the mid-grade tier, and the low tier. So
Value, yeah.
so I've come up with a new name for the top tier. It's the fillet stack. Okay, then you've got the sirloin stack. Okay, Bo, world famous chef Bo McBrayer. What meat? I have the hanger as the lowest grade meat. What you have any suggestions for? You know, it's like you want a good steak, but it's it's your cheap steak. Is it the hanger? Is that bad?
Steak, the cube steak that you take
The cube
cut and you just beat it to hell with one of those mallets, and just like it's so tough that you have to tenderize it. The cube steak is the lowest.
Is it good though? Like
It can be.
do you want to eat it?
Yeah,
You want it good. You want it good.
yes, but it's tougher to. It's so tough that it's tough to make it good.
Well, no.
Okay.
It's dirt cheap.
Something
I like
juicy
it. The cube steak. Okay, so we've got the fillet stack, the sirloin stack, and the cube stack. Thanks to Bo McBigtime. Okay,
in stacks of
all
cash
right.
for DFS.
In stacks of cash. All right, for this is the fillet. It's the safest fillet. It's the Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins stack. It's the nice. You know what you're getting. It's all good.
Oh yeah,
Kyler Murray, he's bananas. He's video game Kyler Murray, and he's
I like that.
Well, you should.
But what do you think? Are you into that one?
Yeah, but it's really chalky. So I don't like my
It's chalky.
I don't like my fillet with a side of Benadryl. So I'm going to go with the Russell Wilson and double stack it with both of his studs against Minnesota, because from what I've seen from Minnesota so far, I'm scared that he might break them with a billion points.
Double stacks. That's actually another feature I want to add to the show tonight. After stacks of cash, it's sub stacks of cash. Double stacks.
Being able to afford both Lockett and Metcalf in that stack, that's as fillet as it gets right there.
Yes.
Okay, that's a double stack of cash. I have some double stacks I want to talk about later, but who's your fillet?
That was mine. That was mine. He jumped in line in front of me. And he took the last steak in the steakhouse. I have that too, and I like Lockett as the primary stack. If you're doing a one-off stack, but a two-off stack is beautiful. Let me also jump into the sirloin stack, because I think I can back end snake this bitch. You might have poo-pooed him a little bit, Bo, but if you're gonna be shooting out in this game, if you're thinking that Russell Wilson's the best, one of the best stacks, Kirk Cousins is one of the better medium range stacks. You have 3.6K, you can get him. Justin Jefferson 7,200. Adam Thielen 6,700, and then Osborne price down. You've got a slew of little options. And if you want to run it back if you think the other way is going to go, you can put Kirk Cousins with Dalvin Cook and think maybe he plays a little naked and maybe drops one off to Dalvin Cook for one of those 80 yards.
Price range for sirloin. What's the sirloin price range?
I mean, it's like in that 6K to 5K, maybe 55.
Like your stack, you want to try and keep it, in the maybe 12 to 13 kind of range. It's a good stack. It's
you're pricing it in you don't have as much money as the fillet, but you're eating good in the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the fillet, you're up over 15, 16. You're eating good.
You're blowing a load right there.
You're blowing your load.
It's a big party.
Yeah.
I got a sirloin stack, but I'll let you go first, Mike.
I am really excited about what I am seeing on the Ravens with the connection between Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown. They play the Lions.
Yeah.
Lamar is 7,800. He's the expensive side of your stack, but your sirloin, you're right around 13,000 with Hollywood Brown. He's 5,600. So
That's a steal.
I
mhm.
love that. That's beautiful.
So get this. My sirloin stack is 12,900, and it's the Herbie Mike Williams stack because they're going against KC, who we just saw get lit up by the Ravens. And I think Herbie to Mike Williams is going to be all season long as long as they stay healthy. This connection is going to be putting up some massive numbers.
Mhm.
Allen's the reliable cash guy. Like you can expect 15 points every week out of Keenan Allen, but he's not
Yeah.
going to go above 20 very often. Mike Williams is going to be between 12 and 30 every week.
Dude,
And
I mean, in that first week too, he dropped a touchdown. Like he should have had more points in that first game.
but he's electric. He's only at 6,400, which is only 300 more than last week when he put up another big game. And Herbert 6,500.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
So
Right.
that's cheap. I mean, I would consider that a primo sirloin for basically an Outback Steakhouse price.
I agree.
I
It's a
like
great,
that.
It's a great sirloin pick, my friend.
Yeah, and shout out the sirloin server himself here, Mike Cash Collins. I visited him on his very first day of working, or one of his first days of working at the Outback Steakhouse, and he brought me out a bloomin' onion, and there's some good stories here if you want to prime the pump later for Mike Kim talking the old Outback days. But anyway, let's talk about our
the cube. The cube. I have
Mike,
to
did
write
you
it
get your
down.
guy in? Was your mid range in there? Did you throw your mid range in?
Lamar and Hollywood
Lamar
Brown.
Hollywood. Okay. Okay.
The
And then
cube.
It's so tough that you might break a tooth on it.
all right, Bo, I've got one for you, but I want you to start. So who's your tooth cruncher this week?
So I was in between two guys. I really like the potential of Justin Fields and Darnell Mooney because I don't think Dalton's going to be good to go with his bone bruise on his knee. So it's going to be Fields' season starting in week 3, and they're going against a Cleveland team that is pretty decent on defense, but their pass rush is really aggressive. And that's why Kansas City got to them later in the game because they designed rollout and waggle plays for Mahomes, and that's what killed Cleveland was they couldn't hold coverage long enough to get to Mahomes, who was out of the pocket for the second half. I don't expect Justin Fields to hang around the pocket very long at all, and he's very forward to big plays, rushing upside, and he's only coming in at 5,200. And then I love A-Rob, but he's priced up for this. So I'm going to go all the way down, and let's see how Mooney is. Mooney is only at 4,300, and he's the second most targeted player on this team, not too far behind A-Rob. And so I'm looking at upside. I'm looking at saving a ton of money to go after some stud wide receivers and running backs elsewhere. That cube steak is going to be the most tender one you have.
No, I like it. I'm a big fan of that. And I'll say I'm going to do mine as an homage to you, Bo. So I'm going to save it for last. Mike, why don't you hit us with your cube stack, my friend?
I got 2 cube stacks for you. I got Taylor Heineke 5,600 with Logan Thomas 4,700. Nice little tight end cube stack. And then I have Daniel Jones at 5,800 and Sterling Shepard at 5,900. Okay. Nice little cube for you.
I'm into the Sterling Shepard. Yeah. What do you think, Bo?
I like that one better than the Washington one because he didn't really pay attention to Logan Thomas, and that worries me. I'd rather go after Humphreys or something like that if I was stacking Heineke. Because
remember, we want to give more of a sample size too because Heineke's only been 4 games. We've only seen him play in 4 games. So
I mean, he's the second best. He's the second most eligible receiver on that team. I mean, they're going to throw him the ball.
McKissick is apparently.
Yeah, I will say McKissick might have a rise. My value is an homage to you, Bo. It's Matt Ryan at 5,400. Yeah, I know it's terrible. It's terrible.
It's
Kyle Pitts 4,900. Between them, you're only at 5,300 or 10 10-3. 10-3. That's not
I'll
bad.
be running a lot of Kyle Pitts naked this week.
That's not bad. You know what I mean? But it's and you think, why would you do that? Well, Teddy Bridgewater passed for touchdowns against them. And then also so did Heineke. So I think there's going to be a touchdown in this game. I see Kyle Pitts picking up his first touchdown, and that's my 2 cents on this. So I have him in Guillotine League. Shout out Joe Pisapia. Homeboy scored 69 points, about to get eviscerated.
Nice.
Yeah, not good for him, because that's the lowest guillotine score, I think. We had some other people playing tonight, so I have to check and see. I hope Joe Pisby is not out. I love that guy, but if you go out on 69, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool.
Nice.
So,
Let me throw this last. This is new to the show. Didn't even show prep this with Scotty Stacks, but this has already been mentioned. This is double stacks. Okay, sexy double stacks. All right, Bo already mentioned one. Lockett Metcalf. Okay, how about Julio Jones, AJ Brown, 6,500, both for the Colts, 13,000. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, 6,600, 6,400, 13,000. Sexy double stack. Then bring in your big guy with Hopkins. Throw in Rondale Moore for measly 5, or Christian Kirk for 5,400.
Oh my God!
You're still right in the 13,000 ballpark.
Yeah,
sexy double stacks in stacks of cash.
Oh man, you're not even lying. Yeah. I mean, Tom Brady still.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
I did the best stack of the week with my Ball Blast article. Top stack, Brady at 69. Of course, I had to go nice. And then Gronk and Mike Evans stacked with him. That was my week 2 double stack, and it obviously paid off. And so I'm all about the double stack, especially when it's got crazy upside. And so I love the Chargers one that you brought up, because getting Keenan and Mike along with Herbert, who's underpriced this week, in a great matchup, that's beautiful.
Oh yeah. Totally. All right, well that's it, my friend. You want to do 3 tweets?
Yeah, the one I shared with you disappeared, so I have to search for it again. It was.
Is your screen gonna work?
I don't know. It might not. We'll have to see. This is internet brought to you by the beach. So my home
by
internet,
gender neutral OBX.
Yeah, by gender. Mine was fixed. Just so you know. I'm trying to find the Norm Macdonald one. This is my tweet is one. Norm Macdonald is on, and he's talking to. It's so funny. He's talking to what's his name? The guy who was on Monday Night Football, who was the Dennis Miller. He's talking to Dennis Miller, and he's like, the worst joke he's ever told or something. He's like, all right, I'll tell you this joke, but it like disappeared off of it. I put it in our feed, Mike, so that
Not the joke on Conan.
No, it's a totally different joke.
That's the best joke.
It was like this joke was really funny, and it was like a real joke when he was younger. And I'm disappointed I can't find it. I'm gonna try to put Dennis Miller in and see if it does it. But Mike, why don't you lead first and see if you can share and see if you can do the screen share.
Okay, Bo, do you know how to do the screen share?
Yeah, it's not hard to do.
If I sent, I keep forgetting to set up I have to do some sort of like Google magic because it doesn't work.
You don't have your screen share set up?
Well, remember we did this last time, and then it's like, oh, you have to do permissions, and then and now here I am again.
Mike hasn't set up a screen share like it's 2018 or something.
That's right.
Okay, I'm not finding it. So let me go back, and I will try my best to find. I got one of the messages. Oh, Mike, I love that. That's a good one that you have. I'm disappointed that mine disappeared, but I have another one of him, and it's just the tweet's just gone. But I have another one of him, so we'll see if I can share this. And I'm gonna. So, hold on. I'm gonna get the screen set up, and then and then I'm gonna try to see if I can share my screen real quick. So
I already have my screen share set up for my 3 tweets. I'm gonna win.
all right. Oh, I like that Bo has his ready to go. Yeah, hold on. All right, I think it's working. Tell me if you guys can see it.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. This is Norm Macdonald, who I love, on Larry King Live, and this is so funny. So if you can't hear it or we can't see it, just listen to it. It's so funny.
Something people don't know about you.
I'm a deeply closeted gay guy.
No kidding.
I'm not coming out though.
Wait a minute. What are you revealing here today?
I'm not revealing anything. I'm saying I'm deeply closeted.
Well, that means you're gay.
I wouldn't say that. Why would I say that? I'm deeply closeted.
That means you're very, very gay, but you don't want to come out. You're so closeted
That I refuse to say I'm gay.
Right.
That.
But that doesn't mean you're gay.
Hey, easy, buddy.
Something people don't know about.
So good.
That's hilarious.
He's so funny. So
So good.
I do love him.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. He goes, I'm a deeply closeted gay guy.
No, do you remember the interview with Seth Rogen and James Franco?
No, I do not.
Okay, there's a scene in the beginning, and I'm like, did that come out first, or did this come out first? And Norm Macdonald is stealing from that movie, or is that movie stealing from Norm Macdonald? Because in that movie, they basically do this interview, but with Eminem, and Eminem comes out as gay.
Movie, Norm Macdonald was on the writing crew for that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's involved in so much stuff.
He's so funny, man. He's the funniest guy.
He plays Death on Family Guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna butcher his joke, but the joke I was gonna share that took down was Desmond was like, "Hey, man, you ever look back on your career and anything like you regret, that you say?" He goes, "Yeah, this is one joke I made." He's like, you're like an elderly couple. You go to a gay pride parade, you see your son like celebrating the gay pride parade, and you're just like, I'm just so proud of my son. He's just like, I'm gonna tell everybody. And he's like, and then you go home and you tell everybody, you're like, yeah, my son, he's like got a, he graduated top of his class. He's like the best in his class ever, and I'm just so proud of him. You tell everybody at work, and you're just like, hey, he got a job at MIT, whatever. He works all over the world. He's like, yeah, and he's gay. And he's like, he's gay. And he loves cock. He's like, he loves cock. He's like, he takes it all the time. He loves cock. Here's a video of him taking some cock. He's like, that's not how proud people are. People aren't that proud. And Des Miller goes, thanks, man. Thanks for waiting 9 minutes to share this terrible story. So this is one of those things where he sets you up for whatever the joke is. Like you don't see it coming with him because he wants to play, the long game with you. And so this one, he said up front, he goes, I'm deeply closeted and I'm gay. Basically is what he said. And he goes, wait, what are you saying? He's like,
Right.
You're gay? He's like, no, what are you saying? So he just saw his eyes light up. It's so funny. He kills me, man. I love him, man. Rest in peace, Norm Macdonald, man. You made me laugh so many times. And he always would talk about how O.J. Simpson was a murderer. That's like his favorite thing to talk about on Saturday Night Live. So that guy was cool in my book, man. I love that guy. So, rest in peace, brother. Cancer, fuck cancer. My sweatshirt is here, fuck cancer. And we're at the beach for the first time since London was diagnosed, and we're so happy to be here. And she's alive. So fuck cancer. So.
Fuck it.
Yeah. And Bo knows, Bo, you want to shout out your stepdad and just tell him what a great person your stepdad was? Because, he had to deal with your ass. You know what I mean? So.
No, he's a good guy. He's a farmer. He was a contractor. And he cheated at dominoes. He loved to cheat at dominoes. He cheated at cards, and he didn't care if you caught him because he was just like, "Oh, he caught me," and then he would go back to cheating. So he also taught me how to cheat at cards and dominoes. So life lessons were aplenty, and we obviously miss him. It was kind of sudden how it went, but yeah, overall, you look back and we're going to have a celebration of life here in a couple of weeks, and we're going to go up to Alaska next year and spread his ashes on the Kenai Peninsula, where it's his favorite place. So we're gonna make it a celebration rather than just being down and gloomy, because everything happens for a reason, you know.
No, I agree. Well said. All right, so Bo, you got your tweet up there. Let's walk us through this. I think this is a great tweet. I saw this from Mina Kunis. It's crazy. It's so funny. Go ahead.
Future, it's a picture of Future texting his ex, and Mina says, "Pretty cool how the Ravens coach has total faith in his quarterback to make huge plays with the game on the line. Reminds me of how I used to believe in us. Anyways, hope you're well." Basically, she's saying that it's like toxic, like you're texting your ex just to make her think about you, and so I just love the irony behind it, where it's like you have so many quarterbacks now where their coaches don't trust them, or the quarterback will go rogue and they don't trust their own coaching, and then you have being just perfectly in a nice little neat bow wraps it all up into one little package with this tweet. It's just masterful tweeting.
Great
from
picture. Yeah, perfect picture. I mean, just everyone knows that meme or that picture now. I love it. Mike, what about you, brother? You got one in there?
I sent it to you.
Okay, I'm gonna unshare Bo's screen, and I'm gonna have to go share my screen again. Okie dokie. Let's see if I can figure this out. We are here. We are there.
PFFs.
We are everywhere.
I'm a deeply closeted gay guy.
Deeply closeted gay guy.
Well, I'm not.
No kidding.
Mine is live look at Giants fans.
Yeah.
This is post game. Pause it. See if you can get it at the beginning.
I love this. This is one of my favorite. I saw this tweet from something else, but hold on. There we go. He's gonna light himself on fire. Let's watch it.
It's Nicky Snacks.
That's every Giants fan.
Right.
Yeah. I saw this. This is so funny.
Yeah.
I love this. So, Bo, I'll let you decide who wins 3 tweets tonight. Because I have nothing. Mike has hopefully a tweet.
Shout out Norm Macdonald. I'm giving it to you because Norm Macdonald is sorely missed.
Yeah, no, he is, and I'm not able to find the other Norm Macdonald tweet. Unfortunately, that was like the funny thing. Mike, do you want to share your tweet just as a
Here you go. I'm sending it to you right now. I like to keep them in reserved in case I don't win, so I just sent it to you again.
Okay.
This is called the Hardy Boys, the case of Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend's bald.
That hits so hard, man. I read all the books.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a winner right there. Jeez.
That's hilarious. Oh my god. That's
so
funny. Dude, I love that. And I have to say, I forgot to say this before because, I'm a great guy who runs the show, but not always trying to produce the whole show. But I do have to say that was brought to you. That section was brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks every Monday night, every Thursday night, every Sunday to get your NFL Prize Picks in. You can just very similar to stacking in DFS. You can stack up your plays. Last week, myself and Laquan we talked about stacking up Terry McLaurin in all formats. You could have stacked him up in his pass receptions, his over total listens and yards, his fantasy points, all of them, all of his stats that we told you to do. You could have six maxed your money. You know what I mean? So please do listen to us with the Prize Picks. I'm on the Mayo Media Network every Tuesday. I think we do it Tuesday night. It goes out either Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Check me and Laquan out. We are awesome. We're fire, just like we are here on the Fantasy Millionaires with Bo, just like we are on Chalk Block. I do have some sad news, unfortunately. The Fantasy Football Hot Stove, which was really hot during the off season, is now onto a simmer. And I think Jamie and I are doing one more show, or maybe we're done our last show. We'll have to see what it's going to happen. But I'm definitely still down to do the Fantasy Football Hot Stove. So I'm definitely looking for a new cook in the kitchen for that coming up, and we'll see how that works out and how that plays out. But I love having you on here, Bo. Why don't you plug away what you're doing, man? Because you're working so hard. We're working so hard. You're over here, you're over there, you're everywhere. Tell people where we can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Bo_McBigTime. Very, very active there. Always cracking jokes, making fun of Scott. Gift game, very strong gift game. And then I write for NimblewNumbers.com. It's this little known outfit based in a made up state.
The story, really,
And really, it's a Cinderella story. You hear it every day, but you never believe it. But we're going to be doing big things one day in the future. But NimblewNumbers.com. We have a Patreon.
You have the ball blast.
Patreon.com. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, yeah.
Patreon.com/NimbleDFS and BallBlastFootball.com. I'm writing 4 articles a week for Ball Blast. They're all DFS. Every showdown slate and a main slate. Check it out. We're crazy. We're popping big. Like Sam Wagman was. If Brian Edwards had hit his snooze on his alarm one more time, our buddy Swags would have won the Millie Maker on Monday night with one of my lineups, or one of the lineups that was inspired by me, and the Showdown Blasters article. So it's
how much did he win in there?
Yeah, I think he won a couple hundred, but he was tied for the Millie Maker lead with like 40 seconds left in the game.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, he wanted to send a naughty letter to Brian Edwards. Let's just say that.
Oh no, that's sad.
But anyway, ballblastfootball.com and check it out. I'm just writing up a storm, and check us out on Chalk Blocked, of course, every Saturday night at 10 Eastern. And my Hammercast, the surprisingly spicy stack show with Hammerjacks, is 10 Eastern on Friday nights.
Well,
and of course, get up early on Sunday mornings for the DFS tailgate with In Between Media.
Yeah, I wanted to do sizzle and sausages, but with 2 drives on 2 Sundays, sizzle and sausages was not going to work out. But I'd love to come on that show. You guys do some food tailgating? I'm assuming there's some food involved in there.
Yep, I made leftover pizza and hot sauce with an Irish coffee yesterday morning.
That sounds so sexy. Michael, you can be found at where?
I'm the Ralph Macho right there. And I don't do anything. I don't even tweet. So I'm just happy I know you guys, the hardworking men. You're inspiring people, and this is where you find me. It's here, Fantasy Millionaires.
That's good. You can find me at the Fantasy Millionaires with you because you're my man. And Bo McBigTime, please do check his workout over at Bo_McBigTime on Twitter, at BigTimeFlavor.co. Go buy all his yummy hot sauces, all his rubs. Mike, I didn't invent a new anything, but I did put some of his delicious rub on some chicken after it had been cooked a little bit, had some juices coming out, turned it into like a sauce almost, like a rub, dry rub, like a dry wet rub. Oh, so good! It was amigo.
It's all a shortish, heavyset thin guy.
Yeah, big guy, heavyset little guy. Yeah, fat skinny looking guy. So it was delicious. I loved it. So do please go there and check that out. Also, you can find me, NimbleWNumbers.com, Nimble at NimbleWNumbers on Twitter. And then, I write for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, Priced Up, Priced Down every week. Me and Bo, 1-to-1 in the head-to-heads over at the NimbleWNumbers, the clash of the beards and the bellies. This is going to go on all year. We're going to talk shit all year. I put them on blast in the Sports Me app. I put them on blast at the beach. I did a beach call-out video today. So I'm going to do another one for this week, for week 3. I can't wait to do that. I've got all week to prep for you, bro.
Get on the Sports Me app, and because I'm not a good loser, because I haven't lost in almost a calendar year.
Since the Trump administration, you said that was hilarious. I told Rose that. I was so
actually
funny. True. I know. Last time you won, before that, well, actually, I won.
Much history has been written since you last beat me.
Well, I beat you. Actually, the last time I beat you, I think was the Super Bowl. I think I beat you in the Super Bowl.
That doesn't count.
No, but before that, then it was probably back before it was like Thanksgiving. Yeah, well, Super Bowl counts. I mean, real money was exchanged, so But besides that, or did you not ever pay me? I don't know. I have to look back at the transactions. No, but
the administration was the last loss. So I didn't know how to handle myself. So I just cried myself to sleep last night.
Yeah, you drank one of the bourbons that you got from me off last year when you won all the money, and you sipped yourself to sleep crying. I understand. It's okay. I want to say I do love this. I'm gonna be at the beach all week. If you want to do any shout me outs, please call me out on Twitter. Just say what's up, Scott. What are you doing? And I'll show you a live look of my beautiful first family reunion vacation in several years. So I appreciate all you guys. And Mike, I know you like to end it. What do you guys say to the people?
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Best thing I can say. Peace. Love.